Welcome to the buy list. This is episode 56.
This is not financial advice. This is cardboard. Shushisha! You thought I
Oh.
forgot. Dude, that was direct hit.
I
That
think you
was
actually knocked your camera out of.
I do think I did a little bit.
Yeah. It was a
There we go.
direct hit.
Dude,
Yeah.
I probably gave some people at home a concussion. Dude,
Some whiplash for sure.
yeah, talk to Roger Goodell. He'll pay your medical bills.
Yeah.
Um
So,
so let's
how's
just
your
talk.
week in Fab, man?
It was good. Went to an armory, played some Levia, trying to practice for new card that's broken. So I was getting some Levia reps in, and
Nice.
then they released what new looks like, and I'm like, maybe
Never mind.
Levia ain't gonna be it. I think that one might be a little bit tough for her.
Dude. Yeah.
And then I just I don't know I've been playing a lot of Enigma actually, and God I just love that deck. I love how it feels.
Yeah.
It's a really cool, just like, y'all have to just play it. I think all the heroes look actually like insane. This is the most hype I think I've seen too, like heading into a set. So,
Yep.
what about
Yeah.
you, Ted? What'd you do?
I unfortunately I reconfigured my Viserai deck, and then my day on my Armory went to hell on me, so I couldn't make it out. Boo.
Boo.
Um, but I had some highs and lows. The high being like, hey, Enigma, she puts out everything ward, and Vincent just zaps it all with one rune chant. I was like, that's pretty cool. Maybe like there's a meta coming for her. And then I looked into new, and I was like, never mind. There isn't. Because in that one Blitz game they played, she's just like banish, banish, banish. And it's just like, I like you can't block with your blood deck cards because she's just going to kick them to the graveyard, and Vincent just doesn't have the action point economy to like peel out blood debt. You're like, oh, but it's a good thing she'll have blood debt, right, Ted? Like, yeah, well, not when it's like 8. You're
Yeah.
taking 8
Yeah.
every turn. So yeah, I was like, oh, that's gonna be tough. So yeah, gained one probably decent matchup because I'm sure Enigma's, I mean, as bad as it sounds that all wards get zapped, it's like there's play lines around it, things like that. But it's like probably decent. But then yeah, new is like never mind. So you have to dodge new, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll have to play some games and then see how that shakes out. But yeah, dude, we got some spoilers this week,
Yeah, we did.
and
We
we
got some
got
slappers.
yeah. So we got some, we've been normally reviewing the expansion slot cards because it's just too overwhelming to try to go through everything. But now we actually, at time of recording, we have a card or two that we can talk about that I think kind of just stand on their own. And that let's talk about that one of those first. This card actually just came out just over an hour ago, Nate, and it's called the Weakest Link. It is an attack action. It attacks for 6, blocks for 3. It is a red, cost 2, and it is majestic. And when its text box says, when this hits a hero, look at their hand, choose a card without base block. If you do, they discard it and you draw a card.
What?
Yeah.
What?
so so LSS has been like trying to make the player base question CNC for a long time. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? And we're like, yeah, amnesia sucks. Get it out of here. Throw it in the garbage. And then
Erase
I
face sucks. Get it out
yeah,
of here.
that's
Throw it in the garbage.
you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, nice try. Try again.
Yeah.
Well,
We
boys
ain't
and
falling for
girls.
that. Pay up?
Oh
Nah,
yeah.
that sucks. Throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Weakest
Um
link? Oh, what?
Wait a second.
Excuse you?
Yeah,
What did you just print on that card?
dude. I had to read it again because I was like, did that just say draw a card? That's kind of nuts. Yeah, I think this is the closest thing we've got to a 2 for 6 that kind of questions CNC's purpose in life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, see, yeah,
It's, I mean, so like it's like super contextual though. Like right, like
yeah,
this,
it's
like
meta dependent,
Warriors,
right? But
Warriors. This is basically blank.
yeah,
A lot of decks, this is just gonna be basically blank into. But what's funny enough, LSS just like pegged the meta going into
mm-hmm,
Mistveil, right? Like KO, stonks,
mm-hmm,
Prism, stonks, like Kano, stonks.
mm-hmm,
All those decks have a lot of cards that have a little zero in the bottom of it that say, I know Blocky.
yeah,
Um, so it'll be really interesting to see like how much card display gets and like how strong it is. I think like everyone when they saw standing order, they're like, "Oh my god, they printed another CNC. Everyone, it's gonna be $1 billion."
hey,
Like,
bro, I take offense to that because I was one of those people.
mortgage your kidneys now, son. Like,
You wrecked me live on this podcast. That was a live episode, and you're like, actually, it's not that good. And I was like, dude, I just got done stroking it for like 5 minutes over this card. You just let me go, and then you're like, actually, put it in the DT. And I was like,
yeah, put that
all
shit
right,
in. The,
can't even edit this out. This is live.
this live, baby. So like this card though is like I think this card will be kind of that like Warmonger's Codex of Frailty.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has that power level, and like you look at like Warmongers, even though the Warmongers is seeing like almost no play, still a $50 card.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it does it, when it will see like massive play, like across like every single deck will want to play it because when it's
Mm-hmm.
good, it is incredible.
Yeah.
And this card will be the very much the same way. Whereas like standing order is a very niche card that needs the
Mm-hmm.
right deck to play it. These cards
Yeah.
don't need the right deck to play it.
Yeah.
They just literally need to be the right meta to play it.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So,
And I think,
as
yeah, like you mentioned it, right? I think if you're a brute player, you just can't. There's a lot of hands where you just don't want this to hit. Um, it's like it's the meme of like the brain glowing, and it's like if you hit a wild ride, it's like the first part or a bare fangs, and then it's a wild ride, and then it's like the with Leviah it would be the Art of War, or yeah, it would
the
just be like
Doomsday.
yeah, yeah, it'd be it could hurt if this hits for
Can
sure.
you can you imagine, Ted, someone discarding your Eclipse?
Mm, I don't like that, bro. I yeah, it would just be this is so yeah, if Chain was still around or if I play an LL event, this card is the you got Husk. You
Yeah.
go next.
Yep. Yep.
Just like CNC was for all those many months that Chain was here, right? It was just like, oh, you played CNC against me. I was saving this just for that.
Yep. Here you go.
So, but like,
Um,
I think that speaks to its power level, right? I think this, yeah, to me, I'd be like, here you go.
yep. It's
So,
yeah, it's a very strong card. As someone who's opening a lot of boxes, love to see this.
yeah,
Because this
we'll
card
talk a
will
bit about that. Yeah,
move a lot and quickly and at a great price tag. So,
yeah,
and we saw two more cards today too. In LSS, I think kind of heard like the wow, they really powered down Fab. It's not powerful enough, and they're like, "What'd you just say to me, bitch? What'd you just say to me?" It's gonna get wild in here. And Heavy Hitters is like this sampler. It's like you're at the nice freaking winery where it's like, here's a little sampler, and then
yeah.
Mistveil's like, get ready to just chug. Like you're doing a freaking keg stand now with power. Like every single majestic is just like
Yeah.
they can do that. They can put those things on cards together. Like Ninja gets a 1/7.
Yeah.
Excuse me, freaking. We see the first card, the assassin card, the Bonds of Agony. This is assassin only, so this is also going to be an absolute banger. Spoiler alert for our tier list that's going to come out soon.
Mm-hmm.
This card's going to be an absolute banger, and carry a ton of value. It's assassin only, so
Mm-hmm.
it isn't mystic
It is
locked.
a mystic. Yep.
It is a blue block 3 that attacks for 1. So 1, it turns on looking for scrap. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then basically says, if I play 3 attack reactions, get wrecked. It gets +3. You get to take a card out of their hand and then search their deck. You get to search your opponent's deck. You can look through their entire deck. Look at every single card that they decided to put in that miserable deck and then take more cards with that name out of it.
Like, yo, that's a sweet blade flurry you got there in your hand, bud.
Blade. Get rid of that Blade Runner. Here, I'm going to take out 3 copies of your red Blade Runner.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, Blade Runner,
also,
yeah.
yeah, I'm going to take. Oh, Bolton, is that a Lumina Ascension in your hand? Guess what? Get wrecked, nerd. No
See
more
ya.
Luminas for you. Beacon of Victory? Get wrecked, nerd.
Blood
Oh, hey,
Rush
Kate.
Bellows,
Yeah, Kale. Oh, is that a Blood Rush Bellow? Get wrecked, nerd. Like,
Golden Sun.
yeah, Golden Sun.
Just
Get Trounce. Like, freaking. I would
yeah.
argue Trounce and freaking Test of Strength are better. So it's like, get
I
wrecked,
don't know
nerd. I'm
why
taking
you
them
would not
all.
just auto block. Like, I mean, you can
Okay,
play
that's
around this
fair.
by blocking, right? But like,
Just block every card in your hand. Just I'm like, listen,
yeah,
I have no idea ever how to play an assassin. If they ever play this card against me, I'm just gonna give them everything I own. I
yeah.
don't even want to deal with
Here's
it. You know
all
what?
of
Just
it.
here's all my cards. I don't care. We're just gonna
Yeah,
try again next turn when you don't have this card.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so like we hit on it, right? At a minimum, this asks you to block with your the power card your deck's built around. So like
Yeah.
at a minimum, you're just like, well, I'm giving up this blood rush because I can't let you take the other two unless you've like it's super late. But like, this can happen early. Um and then
It's
at a maximum, it just literally just rips it out of your deck and says you don't get to play that game plan anymore, which is like so like new is scary with this. I think Azuri is like, whoa, because she can swap into this. You can just play an isolate. You can only block with one card, so that kind of takes away what we were just saying, block with everything, and swap into this card, and then you're real sad.
and then you just need 2 more, which are like boots and flick knives.
Yeah,
Like it literally, they start with the equipment that does it.
yeah, yeah. Doesn't even need to draw the reactions, right?
No.
So
They literally start with all of it on board. You run a Mask of Perdition too? Like, great, there's another one. You literally
yeah,
don't even need any other cards in your hand. You can just 0 cost play this card, have all your equipment up, and just be like, am I going to do it? Am I a freaking crazy person? Do you have the
yeah.
defense reaction? I don't know.
Yeah, and like you said too, it's like how many pummels you got in that deck. Let me go count them real quick.
Yeah.
So at like the
Yeah.
highest level of play, this is like gross because like the Michael Fungs of the world, they'll be like calculate. Doot, 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 doot. I know your deck now, like every card in and out.
Yeah.
And then guess what? Oh, you're pitch stacking me. You're blocking me out, Bravo, because I'm Missouri and I can only do one attack a turn. Yeah, here's your pitch stack. See
Yeah.
ya.
Nice pitch deck, bro.
Yeah, it's like it's not the biggest thing, but it's not nothing either.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to shuffle your opponent's deck.
Yeah. Oh, Kano, you're just trying to pitch deck infinite combo me where you'll have like the assured win? Cool. How about I shuffle your deck and you have to wait and start all over? We're
Yeah,
8 turns into this game.
yeah,
Are you going to try the start all over? Or are you just going to try to YOLO it now? Like you've already
yeah.
burned through
It's
most of your like cards and you were like 10 cards away from your stack.
yeah. Whoops.
You tell me, bud. I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm going to ask you the questions. I'm not on trial here. Um,
right.
So like
Um,
dude,
yeah,
this card like when I read it, I was like, holy poop sandwich,
yeah. It's
nuts. So
crazy.
what's funny is
So
like, I read the ninja card first, and I was like, a 1 for 7? That's crazy. What is that supposed to do? They're going nuts on power. And then I read this card, and I nearly fainted.
yeah, I saw the text message you sent to me. I want to keep the bleeps down, so we're not going to repeat it here. But yeah, the card you're talking about though, Nate, for the ninja card. Let's jump over to that to now. Now, so it's called Chase the Tail. It is a red, cost 1,
Yeah,
attacks for 4, blocks for 3, which is pretty good. A ninja attack action. So again, it is not a mystic. It not a mystic attack. And it says combo when this attacks. If Crouching Tiger was the last attack on this combat chain, this gains go again. And then the next crouching target you play this combat chain gets +3. Yeah. It's that's pretty much what you want a card to do, and then some. It's pretty strong.
So if you go like crouching and like the one, shout out to the 3 floating guys. Like that video was like amazing. Who knows how much time, energy, and commitment that is, but like they freaking deserve it out there. Like they deserve a spoiler every set because they like put in the hard work to
That's
like
hype, dude. That's
dude,
like mega
make
hype. That
it
was so
hype.
cool.
Yeah. Um, yeah, like in the video, it was just like, here's 4 into 3 into 7, and that was like after I already attacked you for like 3 and my little sword thing, so 5. It was just like, oh dang, okay, I see you, I see
Okay.
you.
All right now.
Yeah, we
But
see, we
yeah,
see.
this card's like definitely on the same level. Yeah, this is crazy. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
let's go down. We did get some expansion slot cards today, actually, from Warsaw too, Nate.
yep.
Um, all 4 mech cards, which is kind of insane. First one up is Supercell. This is blue, blocks for 2, cost X. Mechanologist is action, and it says put X steam counters on X target hyperdrivers you control. Create hyperdriver tokens with X steam counters on it. If X is greater than 3, you may shuffle a construct the Nitro Mechanoid from your banish zone into your deck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's I thought it was better than it was, but you informed me that rules are a thing,
yeah, it's
and
unfortunate.
it can't go plus counters. What's the best way to explain this? You can't go over the amount of hyperdrivers you control on board.
Yeah,
So if you only own 2, or control 1 or 2, you can only put that many on, right? Even if you pitch the blue. So it's
that's
not bonkers, but it's like I played a bit of Max, and 2 hyperdrivers on the board while you're juggling the steam counters is like it felt like 90% of the time.
yeah,
So pitching a blue into this, getting the 2, so now you don't have to juggle anymore, and then you get the third with 2. It really kind of helps you get out of those like clog, like mid game, just like come on, draw me one thing to make the third one, and then let's get that mech going, right?
yeah.
So I think this definitely pushes Max quite a bit. He has a lot of silver bullets in the meta currently. We'll see how that shapes up. But yeah, if you've never played against the mech, it is a dangerous deck, guys. You stack you stack high octanes, and then you just pop off for 40 plus, and it's like, oh, it's a thing.
Yep. Yep. It does a really powerful thing really well and hopes to dodge brutes. So,
Yep.
but I mean, like, it's a strong deck, and this is like definitely a nice little glue piece for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that like this is like the glue piece he wanted though, to not just be a nitro, like, because this just like further pushes the nitro mechanoid build.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to see something that kind of pushed like the like a HyperX build.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like I think the Nitro Mechanoid build is basically as far as it can go. It doesn't need to be pushed any further.
Yeah.
Very strong deck already.
Mm-hmm.
It just gets blown up,
Yeah.
like literally by brutes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it probably would be like tier 1.
Oh yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
I would have loved to see them try to push like a HyperX build.
Yeah, before we discuss the rules and how that works, I was thinking you could dump
Same,
resources
yeah.
in, and then you could just be like free money, and then you could just boost people's faces
Free
off,
money.
and
Yeah,
just grind them into the dirt. But because Max can do that very well,
yeah,
especially with a bunch of the cards that are reduction in cost with hyperdrivers. So like I was kind of excited about that. I was like, man, if you could just get a bunch out, which you might still be able to, but it's not as good.
No, I thought like, and I messaged you about that. Like, I thought you could just be like x equals 6 one turn and be like, listen, yes, I'm taking a turn to do absolutely nothing, but I literally don't have to pitch for the rest
Yeah,
of the
I
game.
pay nothing now.
I'm basically I slipped and fell in Disney World, and I got a lifetime pass pay because I ain't paying. Like
Yeah,
that's like literally what I thought you could do, but
yeah,
unfortunately, you paying. All right,
yeah.
you ain't this ride ain't free.
My head was I didn't go into February just yet, but my head was running through. I'm like, man, if you could run real armor, then you're like, oh yeah, let's see if you
Yeah,
can boost off. But
yep,
I don't know. Maybe there is something there. Someone will figure it out if there is.
yep,
Not this guy though, because the
yep,
mech's just too much fun to move away from if I'm gonna sleeve up Max.
yep, yep.
Uh,
That's it. And then
we can,
Teklo finally got his arcane pieces.
yeah,
I
we
don't know
can.
how.
I mean, they do things. The first one says when you equip it, put one Mechanologist attack card from your banner zone on the top of your deck. They're
Yes.
instants, which is really cool. They're blues, obviously.
Yep.
They cost nothing. They're instants, so that's really cool. I think on this
So,
one, Nate, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, or leave it in a comment down below if I'm wrong. I think this one you draw the card off of Teklo. You can reorder your triggers
that
because when you if you equip this from the banner zone, you activate Teklo's text as well, right? And if you do this, you which is kind of interesting.
brain too smooth. Sorry.
No, Teklo's text says when you equip an Evo.
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know if you can order those triggers. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't either. But
Anyone
anyways,
who's level 2, because level 1s are. I probably should. That's a little inflammatory. I was gonna
yeah,
say level
whoa,
1s are
whoa, whoa.
fake, but I appreciate all of our level 1s. Um, I'm technically a level 1, and I don't know anything, which is why I think all level 1s are fake because they
Well,
somehow gave me a level 1. But there's
yeah,
actual level 1s who like know rules and pay attention to that stuff.
yeah,
So if you're a level 1 who isn't a jabroni like me, please comment below.
yeah,
Man, I probably pissed off a lot of people right there.
yeah,
Don't edit
yeah.
this out. I love you all. Dude, my local judge. Shout out to Tyler. I'm sure he does not listen. Every single event, I give him the most grief ever, and he is such a champ in sport about it. And he's like, he also does the Fab Cube.
hmm
Um, he's like grade A human, super cool dude, and I just give him. He does give me a lot of IP penalties though, but not for me
Well,
giving him
did you ever think
grief.
about getting good?
Dude, I should. He's giving me two,
Oh,
and I still give him
hate
shit
to
for
see
it
it.
every time I'm at a tournament, I'm like, you gonna give me an IP penalty today? He's like, you wanna watch it? Um,
That's funny.
I do like. I think I'm gonna rant about it later, so we can dive into it.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this headpiece lets you play Boost of Awesome
Mm.
because even if you boost Singularity, this card puts it back on the top of your deck.
You're right. Yeah, it is an action card. Yeah, Mechanized action card. Nice.
Yeah, so you can just run these as your blues if you're playing like a Boosty Boston, and then just like kind of like whoop, whoopsie doodle,
Yeah,
and then like put it back on the top of your deck. And if you can stack the triggers too, that's like kind of sick.
yeah.
Um,
You're
so
paying 3 for it. Then there's something there maybe.
it's
Um,
also an instant, so like you don't have to pay for it. Like you could
yeah, you can
instant
just.
pay, do a different one, and then like before that resolves, like boop, put that on top, and then put it on the top of your deck, and
That's true. There's some crazy stuff in there.
yeah,
The chest piece says when this is equipped, the next attack action card you play this turn costs 1 less. That's pretty good.
that card
It's
sucks.
not. I
It
mean,
just says Arcane Barrier 1 on it. Card sucks.
okay. Moving on. Short circuit.
Yeah.
This one says deal 1 damage to any target.
So this one is actually super interesting for one, does say Arcane Barrier on it. So dope on you, dude. And two, it says deal 1 damage, which is relevant for like the Prism matchup. Like Prism's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna triple tome, Soraya, swing, and you're just like, no Spectral Shields? No other way they prevent damage?
Zap.
That goes
Yeah.
bye bye. And it'll be interesting too into Enigma with Ward. Much harder to actually functionally utilize because she'll probably be able to stack her Ward triggers in a way that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
helpful.
She'll have ward stacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah, I'm excited. We are on the cusp. This is Friday night when we're recording this, Nate. So we are on the cusp of like the whole set just flooding us. So
I
next
can't
week,
even.
next week, we're definitely planning on doing our tier list
Yep.
with the twist that it's not based. Well, it's going to be based kind of on power level, but then also marketability, which they kind of go hand in hand. But we're gonna,
Yep.
we knock down specializations and stuff a little bit because they're not going to be as sought after, say, as like the weakest link, right? So,
Yep.
um, pay attention for that next week.
Yep.
But then, the kind of segues right into something I wanted to talk about is that this set, as we're getting more and more spoilers, I like every card that comes out, you're like, whoa, this is you're like, this is a little bit pushed, it feels like. And like most of the cards are like, whoa, that's really good.
Dude, this is Flesh and Blood's about to get real fun.
Yeah, I think you already, you kind of alluded to it a bit, right? It was just like heavy hitters was like, ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then like overall set was fun and good. This is just like here, good cards are good.
This feels like Monarch and Tails all over again. Like just that like I that as a market channel that might
Careful.
that might
Careful.
that might induce some emotions here. But if you played back then, like that was like some of the like most exciting times to play
Yeah.
Flesh and Blood. Everyone was just doing crazy, broken, stupid things, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, um, there was a lot of like really interesting things that you could do, and it wasn't just like the game wasn't super mathy. And I know like
Yeah.
a lot of people are like not happy with the current state of Flesh and Blood, of like just like how it's been over the last like year and a half, where it's just kind of like been like boring, like ho hum, like numbers, numbers, numbers. Since it's really just since like Ice left out, honestly, since like Lexi and well, Lexi was just
Yeah.
like a dominant deck, but like it's kind of felt like I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I think it's like I guess I would put it as this feels they knocked down the game. Like if we're envisioning, I envision a ladder, right? And Monarch and Tails put it like 5 rungs up, and then they said, "Hey, hold on a second, we're like going crazy with these action points."
Yeah,
They've, James White has said it multiple times about how COVID really hampered their testing and
yeah,
like how they really couldn't get quality testing in, right? And so they just kind of let action points fly. And like you said, over the last year, maybe now even, they've kind of just knocked it down from that fifth rung, like down to the second or first rung. And
mhm,
honestly, it's been kind of a grind as a player. And, it's just like, oh, it's like, it's like, okay, you do your thing. I do my very mid thing. Like I remember when I was chain, I could like put together a nice sequence and got paid off for this huge, like perfectly sequenced chain and stuff. Um, but I think heavy hitters like jumped us up a rung. So we like stepped up one. We're like, hey, this is pretty strong. KO's pretty strong.
yeah,
Kasai's won a calling. KO's got like 500 some LL points,
yeah,
which like cool. Let's do this. And then I agree with you. I think this is like a full rung or maybe 2 rungs. Like here, guys, here's some crack cocaine. Like just like do a line. Like Enigma looks
do a bump,
insane.
yeah,
New looks insane. Like just playing cards for free, which is like kind of a weird thing. You don't really get to do that very often.
yeah. I mean,
So yeah,
and we've only seen one of Zen's payoff cards so far,
yeah,
and it's a 1 for 7. Like,
yeah. It's a valid point.
I mean, that shit's Bonds. Like, that's
Mm,
basically like right up on Bonds level, power level. So like, we we continue to see like what the nice part about a lot of these cards though is that like it requires you to do a lot of things to do the really
yes,
powerful thing,
yeah.
whereas like in like Monarch and Tails it was just like
I
do it
say
now.
full cycle.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
hero ability doesn't cost anything. Shackle. Briar was just like just play 2 non-attack actions. Doesn't matter what they say on them. Any 2, and then
yeah,
play 1 big dumb attack action.
hmm
Um, so um, yeah, it's really interesting. I'm loving the direction, um, and I think like the overall sentiment, like I downloaded Twitter again for like a week, almost posted once and then deleted it again. They told me I couldn't
Oh my
post
god.
it. Um,
Yeah, it was a little rough. Like I was like, come on, we can't do that.
so um, I just got back off. But on that time, everyone is very hyped about
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Mistveil. Where it did not feel
yeah.
like this heading into heavy, where it's like everyone was like just kind of like looking at it like side and like,
Like, are we sure we trust this?
yeah, like this
Yeah,
looks really cool. I'm like kind of excited to try it. I'll give it a shot, but like people are just like literally foaming at the mouth
yeah,
for Mistveil.
yeah. Uh,
Crackheads, all of them.
Ninja, Ninja Illusionist Assassins. Pretty good three-peat there to put in the set. Obviously, Nate. The one thing that I've kind of so when they drop those blitz decks, right? It's kind of what struck me and stood out to me right away. And we've talked about this a little bit. I don't know if I've talked about it on the pod yet, but it kind of hit me that, especially after Dust Till Dawn and looking back at that set, that talents, everyone's kind of clamoring for them, but they're actually probably hard for LSS to put out, um, because they kind of silo. They're kind of a silo, right? If you look at Dust Till Dawn, there's like, there is class cards in there, but like it was much more focused. Where what's interesting that I'm seeing in this set, there's just a lot of ninja cards, a lot of illusionist cards, a lot of assassin cards, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's no other illusionists in the game right now, but like the other two classes, just like Azuri is like feasting. So if you're a Azuri main, you're excited for a Mistveil right now, I would imagine, right? If you're Fi, you're like, yo, what's up, dude? You're Katsu, right? You're like, oh, I'm watching this now. Where, if you're, go back, right? If you're a Viserai dude through and through, you're like, yeah, Vincent's awesome. This is cool. But I'm like, I'll buy some singles and kind of like, chill. This is like, I'm going to open some boxes now if I'm a Katsu guy or an Azuri guy, right? Because it's like, this is fun, right? So, and we've only scratched the surface. I think I'm hoping we see more and more of that where like there's like it's a better mix of talented cards and class generic cards.
Yeah, and
Wait,
I
I
think
shouldn't use generic,
the
but
expansion slot really helps with that, especially like how deep they've put the expansion slot this time, and like
dude,
it's just like banger, banger,
bro,
banger, banger, Techlo equipment, banger,
I did
banger,
not have
banger, banger, Techlo equipment, banger. Um,
I did
so
not
like,
have 4 mech cards in the expansion slot, bro, on my bingo sheet. That was like, okay.
good news, we
Sure.
probably won't ever see it again.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, it just like I to me that show, this expansion slot, right? I hope we have a couple more. I don't know if it's possible. I didn't look at the numberings. I'm not that kind of dude. I'm hoping there's a couple more in there, maybe. But if not, right? I think it's a pretty decent expansion slot. Probably the best we've seen. I think most of these cards are like, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, but it's just like the overall set design, it feels a little different. I haven't, we don't have it all yet, so it's hard to say for sure. But I'm just really liking that a lot of these power. Well, let me put it this way: like the Power Majestics are class cards, not Mystic class cards, right? And
we're
which is
actually missing
exciting,
3 expansion slot cards.
bro. There we go.
That's wild.
It was said in PTLA that there's no misses in this expansion slot.
um, Tekla Voss and Chess would like to disagree with that, but
It does a thing, right? It does a thing.
it's fine. It's
It,
fine. It's fine.
like you said, it's Arcane Barrier
Yeah,
1, right?
yeah. No, I think
Um,
like they did a really good job.
Long Dong is like a little iffy too, but it's uh it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a Riptide card.
Yeah.
They really struggled to try to print Ranger cards that are just for Riptide that don't actually say just Riptide on them. Because like Azalea is just like,
Yeah,
can I play
yo,
it?
I'm here.
I'm here. Can I
Yeah.
play it?
Yeah.
Um,
I bet
but I
you
think
they're like hoping that she gains some LL points.
I do think like, and I had shout out to my buddy Andrew. Like, um, he he was like, all of these expansion slot cards just make me want to pick up the random like staples of classes that I don't have,
Mm.
because like these cards are very good, and he's like, again, like top four Pro Tour Baltimore.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a machine too,
he's
dude.
a very good flesh and blood player. He wants to play what is meta. Um,
Mm.
so if all of a sudden expansion card drops and Viserai becomes meta,
Yeah.
like he wants to have everything already. He doesn't want to get juiced by pricing. So like
Yeah.
he
Grass
he
for like
literally told me
20
that.
bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, he literally told me that today. He's like, man, I like these expansion slot cards and like are really making me want to just pick up the random things I don't own to make sure that I'm ready for when that deck becomes good. Because especially with the LL system,
Yeah.
the meta is changing on a dime, which is really like ramping up the market. And we've seen it throughout, like I know you've seen it and I've seen it through like
Mm-hmm.
the entire month of basically like April and May with the consistent shifts in the meta.
Yep.
Cards are flying and
Yep.
it is all over the place. It is random stuff like,
Yeah, it's not just Andrew has this slot, right? It's like, hey, I want to play Teklo now. It's like, let me get all these Teklo cards. I'm like, okay, and then he goes out and wins a pro quest or two, and it's like, wow, okay, and then it's like Riptide cards disappear, and so
yep.
yeah, it's like I'm excited to keep seeing this going. Um, there's been a little bit of chatter about how fast KO's getting LL points. Let him have it, dude. Take the claws with you. Get the hell out of here. I don't care when he came out. Like, let's go. There's already another brute in the game. Like, just switch over to Rhino.
The better route, really. Um,
The better brute.
yes. So yeah, like I think that LSS is doing like a really good job with like making things interesting, and like I think that the market is still really undervaluing a lot of cards,
Mm.
because of how this meta is shifting very fast, and we've seen this is definitely a player's meta. So
Yep.
when things become popular, they will pop off. Hello, Shimmers of Silver. I see you there in the corner.
Yeah.
You are not cheap anymore.
No.
Um, but you think about like Fi cards, like those cards are have not been played in like 2 years because Fi's been basically unplayable since he won. Actually, since
He won
Worlds,
Worlds
he did win
last year,
Worlds.
bro.
Everyone forgets it. I forget it. You know
It was a
what?
weird, yeah. I
It was a
mean,
weird spot to win Worlds in, but yeah,
yeah.
I understand. Um, but like Icelander cards are the same way. Like you think about Channel Lake Frigid, it's literally down to $4.
Yeah.
As soon as we see ice again, we will see foaming at the mouth. Wallets will open up wide and say,
Yeah.
I want my outdoor Channel Lake Frigids. And the cards will boom. Um,
I mean, it's good for us, Nate, because
it's
the
literally our
one thing
job.
that this causes, yeah, it's job security. The one thing that I was just thinking about this while you're talking through it. So a good example would be Dust Till Dawn was announced, right? And it was like, hey, this is Monarch number 2. This is like we knew what was in that set, right? And it wasn't until 3-4 months later as we started to ramp, like the first spoiler dropped, right? Or maybe I think maybe Vincent got spoiled, and then cards started getting bought out. LSS has like removed that lag time. It's not, we're not waiting for the next set. Like set 14 is out there in the future. It's no, look at all these expansion cards. This makes the market move. Look, this makes a hero good. Yeah, we've
Armory
been saying it
decks.
already. Armory decks. Yeah. So now
Like,
we're like, and armory decks are purposefully being released in between sets. So like, dude, it's we're churning, man. So this whole like, I'll get that card later used to have some time, right, where you could react and kind of watch and stuff.
yeah,
And not saying that it's like dire, but like you kind of have to pay attention a little bit closer because there's
yeah.
just they're ramping up, man, with the armory decks and expansion slot and all that jazz. So it's fun
Like,
to
yeah.
see.
Pick up your Bolton cards now. Like
Yeah.
the Bolton cards are probably super cheap, but like pick them all up now because like that Armory deck. So what's really interesting too about that Armory deck is I don't think because of how Bolton plays, like they could literally print an entire because of how the decks are designed, they could literally give him an entire new common and rare suite inside
Yeah.
of that deck. Will they? Probably not. They'll probably reuse a lot of it, but like sure we've seen the three like new special cards, but like
Yeah. We're not, yeah. Until they like set the pattern, like I guess the pattern right now is that you get three new cards.
yeah,
Because you got roughshod and the other
yeah,
card, strength or whatever, and
that's
then just the
yeah,
chest with the KO. So maybe it's just three new cards and they just sprinkle in, just give you a little taste of it. But hey, you're right. Like, why not put a play set of commons in there that are just like, oh, this is really good, or
yeah,
you know what I mean, something like that. So that'll be fun to see.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited, man.
Same.
This
The
game feels
markets
like it's ramping up, and it's like ramping up quickly, and kind of if you're not
market
paying attention,
is
you don't
pumping.
notice it. And I think it's going to be like in the fall when Set 14 drops, it's going to be like full frenzied. I think for sure,
100%. Yeah.
especially because there's a room blade in that set, bro, and it's just going to be good. We're going to be back, baby.
Cooking.
Un- huh?
Cooking.
Yeah, unban room blade, please.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
all
So
right,
I think
Nate,
it's
it's
rant
time.
time. It's rant time. I didn't tell Ted what I was ranting about. I just told him, don't worry about it. So Ted's not even ready. So in my last week and a half on Twitter, there's a lot of negativity about literally anything. The sun looked at me funny. I walked into my local game store and they had an Armory deck available for me to buy because they host Armory events. I'm unhappy about this. So, my rant this week is going to be positive because we need to be more positive as a community and we need to show positivity. So, I just want to give some shout outs. So, shout out to all the creators who put in the hard work
Hmm.
to make spoiler season awesome. I love spoiler weekend or what like if
Mm-hmm.
they do it over the course of a weekend,
Yep.
like it is awesome to see all the hard work and dedication that like the creators put together because I know that like they just got their cards like a week and a half ago,
Yeah.
and they have been probably like busting butts to make it special. Like the three floating video was insane.
Yeah.
Um, and such a great way to like launch spoiler season. Um, so thank you to all the creators. Thank you to LSS for like making a cool game. The like their new like social media approach is
Yeah.
like killing it. Alex, I don't think Alex gets enough like love or shout outs, but like
Yeah.
he's crushing it on like the like content, like pushing that stuff out. Um, Carol, homie,
Oh man. Yeah, the
dude,
videos they put out in the last like week and a half have been like, holy smokes, dude. This is like they went from you know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
would expect a little bit of like walk like crawling, walking, then running. Dude, they just started off sprinting.
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
watching these videos and I'm like, what the
They
hell? Like this is like legit like this game should have like, oh, this is its 10th year. It's like well produced. It's like well edited. Yeah, it's just I'm blown away by
yeah.
the Blitz deck videos, and then even the KO Armory like learn to play that Carol did. So good, man.
I mean,
I'm
ours
very
was
excited.
better, but Carol does always beat us to the punch. Love you, Carol. But like, I mean,
Yeah,
like Carol, like so generous with his time in the community, like true like bastion of sunshine,
dude, he's out
grade A
there in the
human,
Twitter. Just
just
yeah,
being a bastion of light.
yeah.
So like, shout out to him. Shout out to Ted for doing actually all the hard work on this podcast. I literally just show up and rant. Um, Ted does all the editing, makes all the like slide. He does whatever recording thing that we're on right now. Um,
You didn't
so
make it to the end of the episode last week, did you? Talking about editing.
No.
It's at your expense
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
at
so
times.
yeah,
But I
whatever.
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. You do like all the, like the thumbnails, all the hard work. So I appreciate you. Shout out to Righteous Gaming, Tyler.
Hmm.
Um, he's kind of been like a little mentor to like me and Ted.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Giving us like tips and tricks on like moving cards, how to ship efficiently, how to
Hmm.
not be a complete jabroni,
Yep.
like how to deal with like returns, TCG player, all that stuff. And he doesn't have to do any of that, but he's just like
Mm-mm.
I think like he's one of the people that like you look at and like that's kind of like what the Flesh and Blood community is all about. Like very
Yeah.
generous with his time. Um, I feel like we're like his little like baby ducklings, and he's like the big mama duck. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like
he's kind of like an unsung, like he moves a lot of fab, right?
yeah,
It's like
yep,
everyone knows Hamel, right?
yep,
And no, like no, shout out to Hamel too, right? I think
yeah,
with Tyler and Hamel, those guys are doing a lot of good for fab, right? They're
yep,
making cards accessible. They're putting together play sets for people. You can just shoot them a list and they're like, yeah, this is the cost, do, right? Um, so yeah, shout out to those guys.
yeah.
Shout out to Riddleman Gaming. Dude's literally there every morning when I open the computer and go to work. It's like, man, this guy never misses a beat, dude. He's like trying to stream from the train as he's going to work. It's like, bro, that's like that takes a lot, dude, because like I it's hard for trying to get us together every week and then
Yeah.
trying to put out the little videos like the KO deck last week that we played on Talishar. I know how much time that takes, and for him to do that like damn near daily is impressive. So,
Yeah.
and I'm forgetting a bunch more content creators, but like, yeah, I think the community here has been really nice. Yeah, everyone's been really accepting and welcoming, and yeah.
I was gonna get the Hamel too, because like Hamel does get like is very kind, gives us some like data too, like
Oh yeah.
after sets release, which he doesn't have to do, but he's like
Nope.
always very kind this time, always just like a homie. Michael Fong, like
Yeah.
I love you, dude. Like he like I mean kind of got us like both first started.
Mm-hmm.
I know he like helped you like when you were starting the stream.
Oh yeah.
Um, and he's like just one of like the best humans in the fab community.
Yeah.
Like he brokers PTI deals. I'm sure he does it all the time.
Yeah.
And he does it to make sure that people don't get scammed and people feel safe to like transact like that. Mostly because he is actually like the PTI Bank and Trust. Him and Brody have
Yeah.
probably like the most like most PTIs in the world.
Yeah.
But like he does it because he wants the community to grow, and that's why he does it. And he's like he's not one for like the spotlight. So I'm gonna shine it on his ass. But
Yeah.
just a great dude. My box breaking partner in crime, Josh,
Mm-hmm.
just the best dude.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. He's been really
so
cool. He was like day one on my box break streams. He
yeah,
just when he fills out my forms, he's just like he puts in his name. Like, yeah, I know who
true.
you are.
Yeah, true degenerate.
Yeah.
My partner in crime. It's funny. Funny. We're gonna break in the story time too, real quick. So so I mean, we're breaking 200 boxes this time,
Yep.
and he sells playsets of commons and rares. I try to. I'm not nearly as good at it as he is. But he does. He has his parents come and help him sort bulk. And it is gonna be very awkward this set.
Yeah. This
For
set
like,
is this set's a little naughty.
but I remember, so our first set was Outsiders too, and his parents came to the LGS because that's where we were breaking at the time, and they were like helping us sort, and his dad was just like reading off some of the card names, and he's just like, "What?"
What is
Um,
this?
yeah, it was pretty funny, but they're grade A humans too. So is he. Shout out to my team, the pack. They're awesome. My friends, family, everybody
Yeah.
at the LGS is super dope. Ted's super dope.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
trying not to forget anybody now because now I feel like I'm giving like an award
yeah,
speech, even though I've
yeah.
won literally nothing. Can't even win a Pro Quest this season. Um,
Oh, that's rough.
yeah, so
I
that's
didn't
my
even go to
rant.
one.
Just all positive vibes
Yeah,
to
no, like
everybody.
I think we talked about this a couple episodes back, but I think it's a good circle back, right? Because I let's not like lose the roots, right? Like we were just talking about. I think this game's gonna grow. You know, you hear it being said all the time, Nate, right? And it is growing like all
Mhm.
the time. But what I'm seeing out of LSS, 4 Armory decks, set 14, Worlds in Japan. We got the premiere in Japan. Like it's going to get bigger in a hurry. I think it's up. The slope on the curve is changing. I feel, um, but yeah, like if you're an old timer, like remember how it was, right? Like I every event I've gone to, man, Barcelona, um,
Always be
Florida,
a homie.
California, LA, not San Jose, but the first worlds, right? I have not had a bad experience with a single person there. It's always been nice, good vibes. I don't expect that to change, but yeah, Twitter. As you started this positivity rant off, Twitter can, yeah. If you're on Twitter and you're on Fab Twitter, right, you subscribe to a lot of people that are
Only
chatting Fab and
positive.
stuff.
Yeah.
It don't let that skew you. Just remember, right? Get out to a calling, get out to your next big event that you can travel to, and you'll soon realize that Twitter is not the norm. People go on there to kind of just let out some frustrations, I think, and that gets skewed into it can look like the truth when sometimes it's not, right? So,
Yep. 100%.
yeah, for sure.
Well said.
Mhm. All right. I think that's
So,
going to do it, Nate.
yeah.
Yeah. Please like, subscribe, do the do's.
Do the do's. And as always, put your money where your mouth is. Meow, meow, meow. Peace.
Peace.